Greetings Twitch and greetings YouTube. My name is Warmac Gaming and I am super excited about today's stream. What we're going to be doing today is what I'm calling a PvZ tutorial. Yeah, I spent all night coming up with that one. But basically what it is it's a tutorial of how to speedrun the any % category of Plants vs. Zombies 2. Before we start, there's sort of a couple things to get out of the way. One, this is a this is a pre-recorded run. I recorded this yesterday using my iPad and my capture card. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but just your basic iPad. I have a little stand that lets it like stand up so I can like use both my hands at the same time. The stand wasn't very expensive, maybe 20 bucks or something like that. And I also used for this one I used a capture card. There's sort of several ways that you can potentially connect your iPad or your Android device or whatever to your computer. I use a capture card so that I don't necessarily need to be on wireless and get things like Pinata Party. The one disadvantage I'll say is that you actually, for this particular capture card, you need to use 2 of your USB ports, one to charge it or for like a power supply, and then one that is actually the input. And then it has just like your standard lightning bolt sort of thing. So it is a little tricky, to get the setup just right, but it definitely works for me. Option number 2 that you can use to capture it is a program called Lonely Screen. It's free to use, and it will, by using, basically you can use your screen mirroring feature on your tablet or your mobile device, and you should be able to connect pretty easily. The one disadvantage is every once in a while Lonely Screen crashes or does not like just decides that it's not going to capture the game anymore. Obviously in a speedrunning context that is not acceptable and could potentially negate your run. So just be a little bit careful there with using Lonely Screen. The final way that you can capture it is by using a program called BlueStacks. It's basically, thanks Zebra, appreciate that. Yeah, this is my quarantine beard, which I thought was like an original thing, but apparently it's really not. So there you go. But yep, that's the situation. The last way you can capture the game is by using a program called BlueStacks. Basically, that's something that you can download right onto your computer. It's basically an Android emulator, and it will you'll be able to download Plants vs. Zombies 2 as an app on your Android device, which is really just your computer, and then just use a window capture on OBS. So those are the 3 ways. I've tried all 3. I do like the capture card. I think the best out of all of them. It's the most stable, the most reliable. Obviously, and those things are very important for speedrunning content. So yep, so that's the idea. So yeah, without any further ado, the very last thing is that when you have the program, you do need to close out, per our rules, you do need to close out of Plants vs. Zombies 2 entirely. The reason is because that will reset the RNG. So when you submit a run, we need to make sure that you're completely out of the program, you've completely closed it down, and then boot it up from scratch, so that we know that you're playing with basically randomized RNG. But again, we'll talk a little bit about that in just a little bit. Yeah, so without any further ado, again, this is a pre-recorded run that I did yesterday that I thought would be sort of a good example for tutorial. And the other thing I'll say is that I do not know everything about this game just yet, and I'm not sure I ever will. Basically, it's we've only completed with the community maybe a couple dozen runs total, so I still feel like there's a lot to do. Again, another thing, yeah, you have to create a brand new profile, as you can see I'm doing right here. Just delete your old one, because unfortunately they don't no longer allow for like multiple profiles, which is very, very annoying. But that's what we got. So, oh yeah, I remember messing around with the settings a little bit to see if I could optimize the performance a little bit better. The first thing we'll get into is load times. You'll see right there, there's a little sunflower right there that takes a little while to load. There are version differences in this game, and unfortunately we haven't found a great way to get through those version differences yet. The iPad seems to load the levels a little bit slower. And believe it or not, we think it costs up to 3 minutes over the course of this run. So right now, I'm potentially running at a 3-minute disadvantage, and the timing starts right when you click skip over on the tutorial, or when you click that you want to play the tutorial. Maybe we find out something where there's a way to get through that. But that's what we get. You may wonder how I'm getting through the text so fast. Basically what I do is I use like 3 or 4 fingers and try to tap the screen as quickly as possible. That'll get through the text faster. You can use both hands potentially to do it, but sometimes I find on the iPad that overwhelms it and it causes like the screen to be minimized as if you're trying to like minimize the screen, and it gets very angry. So again, yeah, right here, the first level's not too bad. Just again, tap through the text as quickly as you can. And this beginning part is actually the most difficult to learn on this. So first thing you do is fast forward, and you immediately use the 2 plant foods that you see right there, and use the money to buy a cabbage pulp. Right when all the rest of the zombies are on screen, use another cabbage pulp. Then use a pea shooter on both of those cone heads, and then you should have 1 plant food left over for the final wave, and you'll see we clear it out very easily like there. So even though it looks like I did that lightning fast, and I probably didn't lose more than a second on execution, you'll actually see my load times are somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 seconds slower than the best time that anyone's ever gotten for this level. So again, this sort of just goes to show the potential disadvantages of running on an iPad like I do. But, again, until I either get an Android device or figure out, exactly what we can do to minimize some of this load time, I'm just going to suck it up and deal with it. Again, it's not for lack of speed. It's a brand new iPad, so there's no, again, this isn't, that I'm using an old crappy device. I guess another thing I mentioned too, make sure you're playing on the most recent version of the game, which I am here. They do update it, periodically still, so we will only accept runs from the most recent version of the game. After the 3rd wave, you'll see right here, I plant a potato mine right behind that cone head. Wait for all 3 of the zombies to appear from the sandstorm, then use your plant food, and then, yeah, for the final wave, just make sure all the zombies get on screen. I was maybe a second late there. You use your final plant food. So the plant food, as you can see, is definitely very, very strong for these early levels. BlueStacks also has super slow loads. It does either. So I gave up BlueStacks about a month ago because it's actually even slower than my iPad. So we've talked about a lot of things. One thing I'm considering doing is coming up with like an in-game time sort of thing, where basically we negate any time where the sunflower thing is on screen. You can see it doesn't look that bad, right? That only took maybe about 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds, but on a faster device it could actually load in about 1 second. So you got to consider, if you're losing somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 3 seconds per level, plus a little bit more time for each time where you have to like go into something else, that's potentially a lot of time. This level basically sort of just copy a little bit what I do here. I actually made a little bit of a mistake there. I should have planted that 5th bloomerang on the far right column, and you'll see right here, luckily I do get a 6th one planted all the way in the far right, and then use the bloomerang's plant food there, as well as the bloomerang, the weak one that is in row 2. So, yeah, back in the 1.6 days, BlueStack was super fast. Yeah, again, the old version of the games, BlueStacks was definitely the way to go. But now, that's what we get. So you can see, believe it or not, even though my execution has been fantastic so far, I'm 23 seconds behind where I could be if I was playing on a faster device. So again, if you have a choice, if you're thinking, I want to go out and buy a device, what do I use? As far as we know, the Android devices are faster. And again, there may be a way that we sort of compromise around this using an in-game timer that has not been created yet, but that's what we get. Again, between these levels, I definitely make some notes. Make sure, you jump in and you click the little adventure mode thing, and then on the next level, you see they're going to introduce us to the shop. So just make sure that you're not necessarily spamming on a level. Oh, this is ridiculous. I remember this. This was embarrassing. I somehow missed that first zombie, and then like I couldn't get back to it, so I had to use the second one. You should be able to get all of those with just one use of the power snow, but unfortunately I didn't. So I try to make up for it with a little bit of speed in this next part. Again, right when you see the arrow coming, like pointing down on the thing, what I usually do here, I'll do one of the zaps, then switch to snow, then switch to another snow, and then hopefully for the very final wave, you can either use a snow or you can use the zap, just like that. Again, that level was maybe, I lost about 2 or 3 seconds due to my execution. Again, check out the world record run. It's or the former world record run by Ruskell. That's a lot faster, and you can also check out some of the shorter categories, the all worlds or the unlock world keys categories. Those are a little bit faster as well. All right, yep, you'll see again at the beginning, right before this, you have to go in. We haven't found a way to skip this yet. But luckily, you know, we might want to do this anyway. You know, it potentially gives you, a little bit of money. It doesn't take up, like, a lot of time, but, you know, that's what we get. And then, believe it or not, we actually don't use the Zen Garden anymore. We used to back before things were super optimized. We used to go because the Zen Garden, you're basically guaranteed to get one of the money-making plants on your first try, and then then a sunflower on your second plant once you pick up a once you pick up a flower pot, but it's not worth it. What we found on day 5, we believe 3 sunflowers is optimal to this. I'm not 100% sure whether it is or not, but that's what we got. The next important thing is to make sure that you plant a potato mine in the 4th row on the second wave, so that you always get this bucket head, which appears in the 4th wave. And this is where we're going to get into some of the differences between Plants vs. Zombies 2 and PvZ 1. Basically, PvZ 1 is completely non-deterministic, meaning that there is no way to know with certainty where the zombies are going to appear each wave. PvZ 2 is what we call partially deterministic, meaning that there are some waves, some zombies in some waves that are guaranteed to appear in a certain row, and then other zombies that are not guaranteed to appear in that row. So, as a result, again, as I sort of make use of some of the plant food and stuff here, it's very important to try to figure out as many of those rows as possible. Like, again, I think that zombie might be guaranteed to appear in the 5th row. So in other words, I should have used a potato mine on that 5th row, as you'll see coming up here. Again, I try to use a plant food to speed that along a little bit, but this wave was a little bit slow. I probably lost about maybe 5 to 7 seconds on this wave as a result of not having the plant food in the right spot. Honestly, maybe even more than that, maybe even more like 10 seconds. So this is a level where, again, I think, with a little bit of practice and sort of learning how to optimize the game a little bit better, we could do much better than we do on this level. So. It would have been nicer to use that plant food in the top row to basically, sort of blast away that the little zombie, the little plate zombie things. But again, still doing relatively well. One thing about my splits, Live Split got very mad at me and decided to erase my old splits, but it did save my best splits time. And so I'm not comparing against my world record time, which was a 1:51:02, 03, 04, something like that. So I'm not comparing against my best time, but rather a PB that I had a couple weeks before that that's a 2:04. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Again, it's nothing that, again, is going to negate PB or anything like that, but just something to keep in mind. The last thing I want to get into is the 50% rule, which, again, you can sort of see right there using zombies like this. So the 50% rule is very, very weird in Plants vs. Zombies 2, and what I mean by that is that normally in PvZ 1, there's a rule that if you do 50% of the current wave's hit points, then you're guaranteed for the next wave to appear, with a couple of exceptions being like the next to final wave and some of that stuff. In PvZ 2, it's really weird. What we've noticed is that the 50% rule does seem to... There is sort of a 50% rule, but like you'll see, that was enough to make the next wave spawn. But there's some caveats. With things like a single cone head and a single bucket head, it seems as though you have to do more than 50% to get that zombie to appear. But with regular zombies, the 50% rule could be as low as 15%, meaning that after only a couple of hits, that zombie will appear. This level, by the way, is completely non-deterministic, so there's no way to know where that, at least no known way to know where that bucket head was going to appear. So again, those are all important things to keep in mind. And there's no way to know which plants are going to appear for you either. So again, this level is a little bit random, and arguably one where you could potentially use one of your instants. We like to use the power zap in general. That tends to be the one that works the best. But you'll see, again, usually use your plant food right when a new wave appears, because then, again, and obviously the cabbage pult is by far the best plant to use a plant food on. So you can see I did lose a couple of plants here. Not super proud of my play on these two levels. Again, I think these are levels where, with a little bit of improvement and maybe using one or two instants or something like that, you know, we might be able to do a lot better. You can see I actually have 3 instants right here, so I wanted to, you know, so I wanted to make sure that, yeah, and again, I lucked out here getting the dude, but yeah. So anyway, the final wave was very strong. The other, you know, I maybe lost about 10 to 15 seconds just due to, again, you know, some of those bucket heads, like, they're very tough to deal with. It's a real challenge to sort of figure out exactly, you know, what you want to do. Now, again, you can see I actually misclicked there. I meant to slide across. Slide your way over to Far Future, unlock it, and then you have to click in the world. It's a little bit sort of an awkward menu transition to deal with, but you know, it's important that you do it. All right, so now we go to Far Future, and you might be thinking, wait a sec, this is any %. You're just supposed to be modern day, but we make a detour into 2 worlds, actually, in order to pick up a couple of very important plants, as you'll see as the run progresses a little bit. It's maybe theoretically possible to beat modern day without going to pick up these plants. However, we're like 99% sure that it is faster to do that. My menuing's a little bit slow here. I'm not 100% sure what I was thinking, but again, on this level, what I found 5 sunflowers is pretty good. We might be able to get away with just 4, but you know, 5 sunflowers is pretty good. And I actually lucked out a little bit here by getting the zombie in a row where there's already a pea shooter. Unfortunately, the second zombie also appeared there, so I was a little bit delayed in doing some damage. But you can see how fast that 50% rule is. With just a couple of hits, maybe 2 or 3 hits, you know, we're guaranteed for these zombies to appear on screen. I got a little bit greedy with that potato mine there. Maybe wasn't totally necessary. The little flying zombies there are sort of a little bit annoying in that they do take a little bit more damage to do. So as a result, I put a couple cabbage bolts just in front of those. And for the final wave, you'll see that you get cone heads. So again, just use your plant food really always on the X's. There's really no reason not to. And then you do need to load up a little bit more firepower in the 2nd and the 4th rows. You can see I was a little bit behind in getting some of the firepower out in the 2nd row. Maybe lost about 2 seconds there. You know, could have been a teeny bit faster, but still much better than my PB or in this particular PB where I'm pretty sure I really didn't know what I was doing. So. Second level, yeah, basically same sort of thing, only we do take the laser bean, and you'll see why the laser bean is fairly important here. Again, same thing, we believe about 5 sunflowers is right, maybe a little bit more, 6 or 7, because the level's a teeny bit longer than Far Future 1, but that's what we got. Again, I'm pretty sure the pea shooters are the best plants to use on the X's. I've seen other runners use the laser beans there, but the laser beans are just fairly expensive and sort of difficult to get down. Again, yeah, at a little bit of a disadvantage on this one. The 2 zombies appeared in kind of an inconvenient row, but again, I'll get to 50% relatively quickly. Definitely should have held off there and put the pea shooter on the top row first. You'll see here what I do. I immediately use that plant food to get rid of the little shield zombie that we get right there. So very important. I honestly wish that I'd taken the potato mine on this level. I'm honestly not 100% sure why I didn't. But that was the way we go. And after you get 1 pea shooter in every row, that's where I like to put the laser beam. And then yeah, just a couple of plant foods to sort of deal with these rows. Again, those bucket heads are really annoying when it comes to the 50% rule, as are these cone heads. So again, I'm very happy with how I've used my plant food here so far. It's definitely worked very, very well. Yeah, again, these guys are a little bit annoying. You can see I actually froze that shield zombie because I was a little bit irked with, you know, I wanted to be able to save it a little bit. What I actually misclicked right there. I should have planted that on the little triangle tile. I would have been able to sort of get a second use out of the peas right there. I was trying to actually dig up the sunflower in the back, so again, lost maybe another 2 or 3 seconds from where I had to. And this is another level. Again, I think in all, I probably could have saved somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 seconds if I played it perfectly. But that being, you know, taking the potato mine and yeah, and you know, not making those misclicks that I did. But I do like taking the iceberg lettuce to help a little bit with the final wave, like you saw that I did right there. So again, this is a pre-recorded run. I recorded this yesterday evening using my capture card and using an iPad. So again, I like trying to get a pea shooter out for these first dudes if you can afford it. You know, they definitely do really help. Again, here I get a little bit lucky, so I'm going to use a potato mine just to deal with this guy, so I don't have to worry about that. And an iceberg lettuce, just because that conehead would probably be able to eat my my pea shooter if things really hadn't gone well. You can see there, I just managed to sneak in that extra cabbage pult. I like using the cabbage pult on those two because basically then you can get the double cabbage pult plant food effect. Here I really didn't have a choice. You know, again, those bucket heads are really annoying when it comes to the 50% rule, and I actually got a little bit of value out of the next wave as well, just sort of based on how those dudes work. So this I'm feeling pretty good about. Again, on this final wave, definitely super value to use that. And then again, if you have a leftover plant food, which hopefully you should, just use that to clear out any leftover bucket heads that you have. So again, a lot of this just sort of comes down to experience and practice. I actually think that might have been a global gold. I think that was the fastest that anybody's ever beat that level in a speedrunning context. So very, very good. Feeling very good about that particular level. Right, now the important thing that you do here is that you don't click next level after you're done Far Future 3. You click back to main menu, you go back to the main menu, you exit out, you go into Jurassic Marsh, which is I think maybe 3 levels over or something like that, and then jump right into Jurassic Marsh 1. Again, this is another very interesting one where you know, we begin to make use of a very interesting strategy. What you'll see I'm doing right here is I'm clicking the favorite button. That's the little heart-shaped container that's next to a particular plant. That moves it up to the beginning of my queue so that, like, every time I pick that plant, I don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom. Very important that you make use of that favoriting. You'll see me doing that a couple of times during the run. What you'll see I do here, I actually freeze this first zombie and try to save up a little bit of sun. Reason being that the second and third waves are actually like super annoying. So saving up a little bit of extra sun is very good. Yep, any percent, yeah, no microtransactions. The rules for the category are that you are not allowed to spend real money on it. You can use the free in-game currency that the game gives you. You can see it actually does give you 10,000 back when you're completing Ancient Egypt, which is really cool. But yeah, again, yeah, the game is very the rules are very specific about that. So yeah, no microtransactions. That's part of the rules. And here, what you'll see that I'm doing, you'll see I'm using the blower, which is very, very interesting. What I'm trying to do here, you'll see it. I got one right there. If a zombie is in the middle of a knockback animation and the blower animation is going, then the zombie will get blown off screen. So in other words, with just a simple primal P, you can kill bucket heads, you can kill gargantuars, you can kill cone heads, you can kill just about anything that is subject to the knockback if you time it correctly. The trick is that the blower only has about a 1 second animation, and the primal P has less than a 1 second animation. I estimate somewhere in the neighborhood of a quarter to a half second animation. You'll see I actually let those guys walk forward into that. Again, very important to also plant your potato mines down as quickly as possible. You can see I even use a little plant food there to clear out that row. That could have been super annoying. And then use your last plant food. You can use that plant food in conjunction with the blower to hopefully be able to knock the zombies back more efficiently. You can see I just used one blower to finish off that wave. So again, this is another level. Again, with perfect play, I estimate I could probably save about another 15 seconds. But you know, things are that's a little bit of a difficult one to optimize, and I'm not 100% happy with the play. So the blower primal pea shooter strats are very good. And then again, after this level, what you want to do is you want to click main menu again, because now we're jumping right into modern day. We have all the plants that we need to beat modern day very quickly. And yeah, that's basically that's what we get. So on to modern day. Modern day is a son of a gun. It's really, really nasty. There are these annoying portals that appear. The zombies are difficult. They don't give you good plants to work with, at least for the first 17 levels. So again, modern day is just like about as bad as it gets in terms of you know, try to beat the game quickly, which is why we needed to go and get the blower and the primal P. The blower is actually useful for more than just the primal P strategy. It's also useful for like all the flying zombies that you get at some point or another. The new pretend Michael Jackson thing, that was actually just a misclick. I meant to click the sunflower. Again, this is another level where I sort of deliberately stall out these first couple waves by just a little bit because, again, Modern Day 1 is actually probably maybe not top 10 most difficult, but it is very, very difficult. Again, you have no plants. The portals are extremely rude. And so you'll see what my strategy is here is I put my pea shooters in the back. As I just barely missed that. I was super annoyed by that. I actually got a double blower though, which helped to make up for that little bit of time loss that I got right there. So again, right when the zombies start to appear on screen, I start to use my blowers and hope that, and I actually did get them. That's really good. Those grave placement zombies can be like super, super annoying. So the fact that I got one of them right away was very good. Yeah, just in any percent. Again, the reason being, those grave zombies are very annoying. This guy can be super annoying if you don't get the good RNG that you need for blower. Basically, the way that the primal Ps work is that every 3 seconds they do either a knockback or a stun. So if you get a stun, you cannot blower those zombies back, or if you're in the middle of that 3-second interval, you can't get a knockback. So as a result, getting a knockback is probably only about a 1 in 4 chance, I estimate. There's probably a way to be more skilled about it, but yeah, again, as you can see, this level is really nasty. The portals are very far forward. They don't give you very good zombies. They don't give you a lot of plant food. So as you can see, I meant to dig that guy up a little bit quicker, and then again, basically just try to use the this got really, really annoying. I wasn't able to really effectively deal with this very well. So now what I do is I try to plant as many of them as I can. Tried to use a blower there, but unfortunately my sync was a little bit off, and I finally get that for this very final wave right here. But again, yeah, you can see I lost a boatload of time, at least 15 seconds, just because of this final wave. I considered using one of my instants on this level, but it's pretty tough. Yeah, the knockback on the barrels is great. It's so excellent. Yeah, it really can help. Yeah, the barrel, you get barrels on this level. So as a result, again, it's not that like you're likely to take a death on this level, I'd say, so much as just like the zombies that it gives you, like the little shield zombies there blocks your primal Ps from being able to knock the plants back. So it's like all those things together, really kind of work together. Again, I also plant the favorite on the primal P. So yeah, so again, this is a very difficult game. Oh, the other thing, always click fast forward at the beginning of the level. It's very difficult if you're used to playing through the game casually. I actually meant to plant that pea shooter. Usually planting the pea shooters in column 6, this one that's 4 from the right, is the way to go because the zombie speed sort of aligns with it. However, there are some zombies that move a little bit faster that you do want to move all the way back to the 5th row for. You can see the first plant that the first primal that I use is actually on that zombie right there. Reason being that the 50% rule seems to affect that a little bit better. Then I just plant a couple of potato mines to help get a couple of good placements with the see if I can get a little bit of value there with in that middle row. Did get a little bit of a knockback there. 1 out of the 3 zombies that I could have. So overall, I consider that like good to average RNG. These guys, I basically, I'll either use plant food on them to deal with them, or just plant something in the middle. Really, what I should have done was save the plant food for this guy, use a walnut to negate the effect of that of the surfboard zombie, and then using plant food on the octopus zombies, because the octopus zombies, in my opinion, the worst zombies in the run. Maybe in the entire game, to be honest. I didn't quite use my blowover at the right time, so even though I did get a knockback on that octopus, it didn't quite work out. But I did manage to blow them up, which is very good. Now what gets very interesting is that we really try to make use of the lawnmowers on these levels. You can see right here, I'm really trying to keep these zombies from coming forward. But you can see right here what I'll do. I'll actually dig up some of my plants where there are zombies that are close to the middle, or that are relatively close to the end of the level. So again, you can see and I'll always be sure that you re-click fast forward when the zombies get relatively close. I was a little bit slow at doing so. Unfortunately, I got a little bit unlucky with this guy here. So again, I really am hoping for a dude. Really hoping for a knockback, and I just don't get it. I just ran out of sun, because again, the zombies ate so many of my sun-producing plants that, yeah, so in hindsight, I maybe wish that I'd used an instant. I'd used a little bit of money to deal with that guy rather than sitting through the grueling 10 or 15 seconds that I had to, but that's what we got. How you doing, by the way, Bent? Good to see you today. Glad you can join us for this stream. Again, this is all pre-recorded. I did this run yesterday, so that's what we got. This level is very interesting. It's another one where the zombies are mostly predeterministic. Like, you're always guaranteed to get a newspaper zombie on the second wave, which is really rude of the game. But yeah, again, very important to use the shrinking violet on him. Otherwise, he's gonna do a lot of damage and really make his way forward. This guy, what I'll use the shrinking violet on him right when he appears on screen. Don't put it in front of the little glacier ice zombie there. Make sure that you use this. And you can actually use the shrinking violet on the piano as well. Again, you just have to make sure that you use it one full space in front of where it was before. So it's faster than Plants vs. Zombies 1. That's part of the thing. The zombies appear on screen quicker. The 50% rules are weirder. But what makes it potentially easier than PvZ 1 is that some of the waves are predeterministic, meaning that you do know what zombies are going to appear in what rows. Again, yeah, I did want to use, this is a little bit difficult. Maybe, yeah, I'm glad I used the Shrinking Violet there, because you can see I actually hit the newspaper zombie as well. Shrinking Violet should almost always go in row 2 or 4. You can see, unfortunately, I got a little bit unlucky with that dude. Didn't get a lot of value out of the lawnmower there. So I'll have to be a little bit careful, making sure that we don't get anything else in that area. But now, basically, what I do, I have a couple of plant foods left. I'll use a Shrinking Violet right in the middle of those rows, as you can see. Didn't quite get super lucky there, but now what I do is I use a plant food on the Snapdragon, and then the level's over. Again, could have been a little bit better. I had a couple of shaky waves in there, but again, I'm not feeling too bad about the whole thing. The newspaper zombies are super nasty. How you doing, by the way, Smudge? I'm glad you can join us for this this lovely speedrun tutorial that we have here. Yeah, they really buffed the newspaper zombies. Those zombies are super scary. They also buffed the football zombie as if he really needed a buff for whatever reason. Again, on this level, again, you know, we're moving back. These zombies these imp zombies are potentially a little bit faster. That's why you can see I was a little bit conservative in the potato mine placement. Maybe could have gotten away with the 6 column there, but I'm like, you know what? Like, I just don't want to lose. I don't want to lose a potato mine and put myself in a bad situation here. So that's what I get. Again, this is another semi-predeterministic row. I didn't know what row that was going to occur in, but I did know that I was going to get 3 imp zombies in the same row. So that's why you can see I was saving so much of my money to be able to deal with that very quickly. Again, on this one, you can see I try to. Let's see. I think I really should have. I should have made better use. Yeah, I should have saved the ice shroom or the iceberg lettuce for that top row, and I would have been able to deal with the or just planted the plant food in a little bit more of a conservative spot. You can see the laser beam really does come in handy on this level. Those whatever you call them, the techno zombies or whatever they are, definitely can be a real problem. So, and again, I maybe planted a few too many cabbages at this point. And this is a 3 flag level, which is I think is maybe the first or second 3 flag level that we've had. Again, really what you try to do, yeah, make sure you get a laser beam in every row so that those are a really good counter to, again, the rainbow techno zombies that you have right there. It hits all the zombies that are in the row. And this zombie, they don't give you super strong, well, they actually kind of do give you some strong zombies, but they're all, you know, they're all kind of piled in on the same row. They also don't give you a lot of plant food on this level, which is extremely annoying. What you see that I'm doing right here, I'm, again, digging up all of my plants. Why? Because if you let the final waves go and you use all your lawnmowers, you end up doing a heck of a lot more damage than you would otherwise. So you can see right here, yeah, I maybe misplayed this a little bit. I think I could have gotten away with getting that row first. And you can actually see somehow that potato mine missed the bucket head. I could not believe my luck. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. They were like all grouped up together, but for some reason I just, you know, I couldn't do enough damage. So at this point I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna dig them up. But I lost about 15 or 20 seconds just due to that potato mine, not like the hitbox there being like really weird. I was super frustrated about that. Again, I've played that level over 30 seconds faster before, but that one, again, between losing that one potato mine earlier and some really bad kind of luck / execution on the final wave, I really kind of, you know, I really kind of got screwed on that level. But again, that's how it goes. Again, really try, you know, we do use the lawnmower strats again here. The lawnmowers give you like next to no money. So again, there's really almost zero downside. You would need to save 80 lawnmowers to be able to save up for one more of the instance. So again, these are the imps that I'm talking about. These imps, you can see that imp is really fast. The primal imps or whatever they are. It was actually so fast I felt like I had to stall it just a little bit. They are really fast. You have to be like very conservative in your potato mine placement because they are, you know, they're coming at you. There's no question. Again, these early waves are pretty difficult because you get a large number of zombies and you don't have a whole lot of sun to be able to deal with. One thing about this little kicking zombie right here, if while he's kicking you use a blower, which I tried to do right there, but I was a little bit early. Oh, God. Some of these early levels are actually pretty ugly. I forgot how bad they were. If that zombie is getting kicked forward while you use the blower, then then it's the same thing. You basically are guaranteed to blow them off screen. But unfortunately, again, I was in really kind of rough shape here. You can see right there, I got really good use of the blower. I managed to save one of the tombstone zombies. I managed to get one of them, and I thought I got one of those to work, but I just wasn't fast enough, unfortunately. So again, trying to basically use the blowers as quickly as I can. I'm a little bit short on sun because of the couple of sunflowers that's gotten eaten. So again, these are not easy levels. You're really sort of forced to like constantly like choose between, do I plant more sun, do I plant more primal peas, you know, like how can I get that timing just right with the blower. All that stuff is very important for this run. And again, on this level, I did manage to get, you know, some fairly good execution. Managed to get the newspaper zombie, which was very important. I actually have 3. I didn't realize I had 3 plant foods here, and I didn't realize that I didn't have any primal peas on that bottom row. So I actually kind of messed up pretty bad here. So I just used my last plant food to deal with that guy. So again, several mistakes in this level that easily could have gotten me, again, another, I'll bet, 15 seconds. So overall, I would say that like these early levels, one between using a faster platform like one of the Android devices, and you know some of these big execution mistakes that I've made. Even though again it's really difficult. This is not an easy game to speedrun. It is super difficult. It like takes most of the complexity that PvZ1 has, and then adds in plant food. It adds in the fast forward button. It adds in, you know, some of these like semi-deterministic waves. It adds in only having 6 seed slots. It adds in some really nasty zombies like the newspapers and the footballs and the overpowered gargantuars that are even stronger than they are in PvZ1. It adds in all this stuff and like, you know, just sort of forces you to like really try to like optimize, you know, the decisions that you make. It is not easy. You'll see what I'm doing here. I'm not planting any sunflowers in the top row. This is because the top row, again, if this level weren't already difficult enough, the top row gives you you know, and actually I'm very happy with that proactive potato mine that I had in the third row there. It gives you some of the spinning, the jester zombies, the spinning zombies that are not affected by the primal pea. They'll shoot the primal pea back, so you can't use the blower strat on them. And then it's like, oh, what the heck else do you even take? Oh yeah, by the way, you need to make produce 4,000 sun on this level. It's absolutely crazy. That's why you see that I'm going totally ham with the sunflowers. Again, you saw the potato mine that I got there. Really good value out of that. Again, these jester zombies, I really might as well not even place the primal peas because it isn't worth it. You can see again trying to get use of one more you know, row before I let the bottom row go. And again, now I'm getting jester zombies on the bottom row, and I'm like, oh crap, what do I do? Again, this guy, I was trying to stall him out as long as I can. See that bottom row right there? Very important to make sure that I wait for all the zombies to get on screen there, because as you can see, as a result, I get really good value out of that mower on the bottom row, the middle row, and the top row. And so as a result, now that I've produced all the sun, look at that final wave. That was literally one of the best waves I think I've ever played in any PvZ speedrun that I've ever done. That was so good. That level, again, is really nasty. I've taken deaths on that level. I failed to get enough sun on that level. That final wave was absolutely perfect. I was super happy with how that went. And as a result, I think that too is a global gold. Yeah, the jester zombies are BS. There are some zombies like the fume shroom, the laser bean can go through it. So I really do want to research whether the laser bean is actually the better plant to take on that level. Just because, again, you know, I'm in a position where you know, you have a lot of zombies in the rows. The plant food could be very effective. Some of those things I definitely want to try to figure out, do a little bit of testing, because again, I'm still convinced that we have not found the optimal plants for every single level in this run. I'm very, very convinced of that. You may be wondering, Warmech, why didn't you plant those potato mines a little bit earlier? You know, what the heck's going on, man? Well, we get into a very, very interesting situation here. Look at that. This is one of the non-predeterministic waves. You always get an octopus zombie on that huge wave in the 4th row. For whatever reason, some of those very particular things like seem to always affect. You can see I actually wasted my potato mine there as a result of the zombie getting knocked back. Really bad luck there. So if you know for sure where some of the zombies are going to appear on some of the waves, again on this wave for example, I knew those kicking zombies were going to be doing some kicks. So as a result, I made sure that I saved a blover, and right when the zombies started to get kicked forward, that's when I used my blover to see if I could get rid of some of those zombies in advance. Oh yeah, by the way, more Jester zombies. Yep, no big deal, but luckily, if you freeze the Jester zombie, he is affected by the primal and, you know, some of the knockback effects. Again, if you can get really good timing, I got the Garg right there. I could not believe it. That was absolutely excellent. I could not believe that actually worked out. That I managed to get the Garg with that, the blover. But that's why I'm very convinced that it is worth the primal P and it is worth getting the blover. And luckily I did manage to get one of those octopus zombies. Yeah, you can see right here, I really wanted to save that for the final wave. I couldn't quite get it in time. So now as a result, I'm like, oh crap, like I have to figure out exactly what I want to do for this final wave. Yeah, and again, I managed to get another octopus zombie that was getting kicked forward. But I didn't manage to get that octopus zombie that was very slow and getting in the 2nd row. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just, why don't I just go ham? Why don't I just go for broke? You know, use some of the stuff that's at my disposal right here. And you can see what I do here. I hold on to some of these zombies, and I did manage to get that knockback just in time. Very, very close, and then I let that guy go right into the potato mine. So again, I'm very happy with some of the execution on these final waves. That final wave in particular is definitely one of the nastiest ones in the entire run. You can see I got another gold split right there. So again, pretty happy with that. I did need to use one of my instants, but believe it or not, that's okay. We have enough money to basically use somewhere in the neighborhood of like 12 to maybe 15 instants before we reach Zomboss. I like to save enough for at least 1 or 2 on Zomboss on modern day 32, and I definitely like to have even 4 or 5 available for modern day 30, because modern day 30 is the most difficult level in the entire game, not just in this run. Well, the most difficult, like, non-hard level that's in the entire run. These match 3s, I really like playing match 3 on an iPad, as opposed to like trying to use BlueStacks and like pointing and clicking and things like that. I just find that it's a lot faster, it's a lot more efficient. I can use both hands, so I can kind of like as I'm moving one on one side, I can move another one on another side, and so it all kind of works out. I recommend the first plant that you upgrade is the Melon Pult. It really helps with like the DPS and on some of those like very zombie dense waves that we get from time to time. And then after that, you can either upgrade, I usually like upgrading the Repeater, because again, it really helps like the fewer plants that you lose, you know, the more matches that you're able to make, right? Like if I had that rightmost column, I might be able to do a little bit more. In this case, what I actually decided to try something a little bit different and upgrade the Snapdragon. And I think I like this a little bit more than the Repeater. Just slowing down the zombies is definitely a big benefit, even more so I think than increasing your DPS by a little bit. Like look at that, I was able to kill the newspaper zombie because he was slow even faster than I would have been otherwise. But the other advantage is that the Snapdragon has much more limited range. So anyway, did very well in this level. Actually got a gold split. So again, I've been feeling very good about my match 3 minigames for the most part in playing PvZ 2. So that's very good. Again, we've been talking about non-deterministic waves, and one thing that I am trying to do is go through and basically test it, right? Like play through every level 5 times, and then say, okay, did I always get X zombie in X row on X wave? Because you always know that you're going to get the same types of zombies on every wave, but you don't know where they're going to appear. So if I had that knowledge, if I had that perfect knowledge, you know, I might be able to do a little bit better on some of these levels. This level, by the way, is a real pain in the ass. I really don't like this level. The Nightshade is on such a long cooldown that it's very, very difficult to get as many of them as you'd like by the time the waves start to get nasty. Also, with only one Grave Buster, you know, you're really kind of leaving yourself in a little bit of a heap. So, yeah, so again, you can see right here, you know, again, you start getting these grave-producing zombies, you start getting the balloon zombies. So really the reason that I use the time warp is because I just want them, like, off-screen for a second. I want to be able to catch up, to plant more plants, to get ahead by a little bit. And I can see in this case, it really does pay off by a little bit. But you can see, like, that bottom row is looking really nasty. I actually might even use I think I use a plant food right here because I was so intimidated by some of those rows. Maybe should have used plant food in the middle row just because, again, you know, you get these little portals and stuff, and you can see very quickly where, like, by going quickly, you really can get, like, overwhelmed very easily. Oh yeah, you get the weasels. Like how can you deal with weasels in this level? You know, look at that. I lost like 3-4 plants just because of the stupid weasels, and there was nothing else I could do. So, like, this level isn't hard. Like, you probably shouldn't take a death, although I have taken a death. I've taken a death on many of these levels, so let's be honest here. This is not necessarily great. But on this final wave, sometimes what I like to do is just start digging up plants. I should have actually dug up the middle row maybe a little bit quicker, as well as the 4th row. And maybe even the 2nd row I could have dug up a bit quicker as well. But you can see here, like, it sets me up in a really rough position. I actually use a plant food on the bottom wave because I'm like, you know what? But if I wish I dug up those plants a little bit faster. I think I could have maybe even gotten, again, saved at least 5 more seconds on that final wave. But again, like, you're not given a lot of plant food. The graves are super annoying. So that level is basically just try to plant as much stuff as fast as you can. Try to deal with the difficult waves. Don't be afraid to use the time warp. Although don't use the time warp on the final wave because, like, then you sort of move the zombies away from being able to deal with to use the lawnmowers. So that's a pain in the butt. Oh yeah, the tomb placements, hella nasty. No question about it. They are extremely, extremely rude about the tomb placements. Mostly because you get a lot of those tomb-producing zombies, and then they start producing tombs, and then you can't kill them, and so then they produce even more tombs. And so it's like, ugh, you know, like, what the hell, man? See, look at how fast those imp zombies are. That guy was freaking fast. If I hadn't placed it in the 4th row like I did, I would have been in huge trouble. Would have been a complete disaster. Again, you can see I also plant my moonflowers all in a big lump like that. Reason being is that they reinforce each other and then they start producing even more sun. Again, another great level, absolutely worth taking the blower, no question about it. Oh yeah, and then you get the weasel zombie, but you don't know what row the weasel zombie is going to appear in. So you can see I sort of try to counter the weasels with a combination of the lasers. That's why we take the laser on this level, is to deal with the weasels. And, you know, a couple of moonshades just because, you know, why not? This is another one. It might be worth using a little bit of plant food here. Luckily the game's a little... I don't know why I used a blower there. I shouldn't have. I should have gotten that laser beam out a little bit quicker. It's okay to potentially use a little bit of early, you know, maybe use one of your laser beams on this level. You know, once you feel like you're at a good point. Yeah, actually, what I meant to do there, believe it or not, was use the plant food on that guard. But luckily, I actually think I saved the potato mine here, and the guard's going to get hit. Yeah, right by the potato mine. So that was very good. And so here, what I decide to do, I decide to, you know, basically just dig up, you know, see if I can dig up. Actually, no, I managed to save it, which was very good. And then dig up the, basically dig up almost everything. Look at those top 3 rows. They're all right by my lawnmowers, and I'm able to really very easily, oh, I remember this. This was one of the worst things that happened. I thought I'm like, I have so much firepower here. I'm gonna get this guy dead like in no time. It's gonna be no problem. But actually, these guys have a crap load of hit points, and I didn't have enough moonshades to do quite enough damage to it to be effective. Really, what I should have done was either just let it go. Or I should have used an instant on it to make things go a little bit faster. I still get a very good time on this level. I still got a gold split, but again, that was mostly due to how well I used the lawnmowers on those top waves, and not necessarily how well I played the final wave. So again, when I say use an instant, I mean use some money to be able to kill the plants a little bit faster. Again, on average, you should be using a little bit less than 1 instant every other level for the most part. Again, if you want a rule of thumb. And most levels really, you know, they're not difficult enough that you should have to use them. But on some levels, if you get really screwed, I've had to use 2, 3, even 4 instants on the same level before. This is an interesting strategy. You can actually see that I plant the very first of the poison dudes there in the back row, and that's because I want to be a little bit proactive about dealing with some of the fireworks zombies that basically jump into those back rows and start doing bad things to you. The other poisons are definitely worth it for cone heads, bucket heads, newspaper zombies. The one thing they won't work on, though, unfortunately, is the piano zombies. So for those ones, you need to use your nightshade just to deal with those. You can see here I got a very nice proactive sort of thing. Also, using the plant food on the poison plant, very, very, very good. Definitely highly recommended. Oh, what would I do with this guy? Actually, I should have used the poison on him right away as well. This bottom row is actually getting into a little bit of trouble. So you can actually see I save it there with that. So there you go. Why am I speaking nonstop? We got a lot to talk about. This tutorial is not easy. It is not an easy one, and I want to be able to cover the many important things that we have in this game in order to, just to help people get into the speed run, to be able to do things a little bit better, because it's a brilliant speed game, but you can see I actually messed up that final wave by just a little bit. I'm gonna be in a little bit of trouble right here. Probably have to let a couple of these guys go. Again, yeah, this final row kind of ran into a little bit of trouble. Again, yeah, at this point I just figure, you know what, I'm going to dig everything up. I still got a pretty good time on the level overall, but, again, nothing wrong with letting the zombies go on the final wave if you have to. A quick note about when you split. I split whenever I click the next level button. Other people split like right when they pick up, the reward or the money bag at the end of each level. You can kind of do whatever's comfortable with you, or you can just, you don't have to use a splitter at all. Not really a big deal. And you can see here, make sure you always click that heart button to make sure that you favorite the plant. And yeah, modern day 12 is, luckily, it used to feel more difficult, but we've developed some better strategies recently to be able to handle it more easily. What makes this level particularly difficult is that you can only lose, you can lose no more than 10 plants. That's pretty rough because of the types of zombies that they throw at you for this level. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically deliberately stalling these first few waves so that I can build up my sun production a lot more. You can actually see planting the walnuts is a very good strategy against a lot of the zombies. Particularly given that there's one of the chicken zombies that appears a little bit later on. That's why we take the laser beam, because again that's a really nice counter to that. You can see I got super unlucky there with that, so I'm like, you know what? I really want to save a couple of those plants. Let's just use a plant food. Hardest level in the game, top 5 for sure. It's really difficult. Modern day 30, in my opinion, is even nastier. The one thing that sort of works to your advantage is that the little shovel dude does not count as losing a plant. Nor does if you use a lawnmower like I did right there. You can see I'm actually kind of starting to be in a lot of trouble right here. Again, using the plant food on the poison dude right there. Very, very good strategy. Highly recommended. And then basically on this guy, just try to get as many many plants out as you can. You can see I actually use one there, and then actually I lose that and I lose that. And at this point I'm like, crap, I have to use an instant. So I misplayed that final wave by a little bit, but I'd say most of the time I do end up using one of my instants on that level. Just in general, I was down to 0 plants. One more plant lost, and I would have lost the level. So yeah, very, very clean, very, very strong. I've beaten that level a little bit faster before, but again, I'm just happy to be done with it and moving on. Yeah, so again, in terms of the difficult levels, Modern Day 12 is up there. Modern Day 16 can be a real pain in the ass as well. Modern Day 30 is awful. Modern Day 1, as I mentioned, is actually deceptively difficult. They really don't start things off easy for you. There's no question. Let's see. What's the one where you have to produce 4,000 sun? Is that Modern Day 6? Yeah, a couple of those can be pretty nasty as well. Modern Day 29 isn't that bad. It feels like a little bit of a break before Modern Day 30. I'll sort of talk to some of the other more difficult levels, but again, we have a pretty good strategy for how to deal with most of these levels, at least using instants. I don't know if I'm ever going to try the category where you try to beat the game without spending any money at all. Basically, it's like a purist sort of thing, and that's what you got. So. Again, this is a pre-recorded run that I made for purposes of just being able to talk about the tutorial. I recorded this yesterday, and this is just a video playback of that play that I did yesterday. So, no EA %, exactly. No microtransaction %. Nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, boys and girls. You know. I was going to, I'm not like a big Reddit person, but I was going to go on Reddit and do an unpopular opinion that, mostly for purposes of trolling, but just that, and the hot take was going to be that microtransactions are a good thing. And you can argue the reason for that is because it does make games more accessible to people, right? Like a free-to-play microtransaction thing. It does make the game more accessible to people. So for people with, lower incomes or, kids or people who are more cash strapped and things like that, it does make the game very accessible. But it obviously is extremely frustrating to gamers that, want the full game experience and wouldn't even necessarily mind paying $20, $30, $40, $50 if they could just unlock everything at once. So it's definitely a good money-making ploy, and it keeps people employed, so that's what you get. Hey, hi Dem, how you doing? How you doing? Good morning. Glad you can join us for this lovely PvZ tutorial. Your buddy Warmack there he's a real thinker, a real clever one. This is the most difficult of the match 3s because you have to get all the way to 150. I do like the winter melons on this. I love being able to slow down the zombies. It really helps save your plants and, just make sure that you don't, kind of get in a choke point or anything like that. Hey, Twitchman Gamer, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome. So again, I felt really good about this. Normally that level takes me more like 3.5 minutes, so I actually saved a ton of time. And again, one quick note, I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream, but we didn't have quite as many people viewing at this point. I did have to use some old splits in order to run this. Live Split was very mean to me and erased my PB splits, so I'm going for a sub 154 here. The 154 was my world record that I set about a week ago. One thing, Shrinking Violet completely kills the imps. That is definitely a strategy that you want to take advantage of. Definitely a good one. You can see here, actually, we get a lot of zombies in a lot of different rows, and so I'm sort of putting myself in a situation here where I'm like, I gotta save up a little bit of sun just to make sure that I get everything you know, in a right situation. So I decided to shrink these guys, and then you know, sort of help deal with that that cone head a little bit. But what I forgot to do was I forgot to put a nightshade early enough in that middle row, because that's what I need for the 50% rule. Exactly, reduced to atoms, man. Yep. Oh yeah, the poisonous plants, those are super, super good. They are really good. And they're even better for their plant food effect as well. I love their plant food effect. But again, things start to get nasty, so I really try to use the Shrinking Violet on those disco zombies. Again, try to, you know, the bungee zombies that sort of like vault in back and forth. They can get really nasty. I'm losing sunflowers. I'm losing plants. So again, like this level 2, it's not an easy one. They definitely did not make Plants vs. Zombies 2 an easy game. No question about that. So at this point, I'm like, what do I want to do? So I decided, I actually really wanted to potentially use one of my plant foods, but I decided to really wait for the final wave before using it. There, unfortunately, I sort of had to. So I think I decided to dig a couple of things up to help move along those rows a little bit quicker. And again, very important to use that plant food special. Unfortunately, I missed that cone head. I wasn't quite patient enough when he got on screen, but I decided to use the poison plant a little bit afterwards, and actually dealt with that final wave really efficiently. I think that's the reason that I'm going to get a gold split on this level. That final wave, like, really felt good. Yeah, the garlic just isn't worth it. You don't get a lot of advantage by consolidating your zombies to a single row until you get like some sort of really good area effect plant, like we do later on in the run. So the garlic, unfortunately, just isn't worth it. Modern Day 15, I would put in the top 10 for difficult levels in this category. It's not horrible, but those primal walnuts do not have as many hit points as you would think. So I don't do tournaments. I sort of thought about it a while back, and I think I did get pretty high up on some of the ladders for the battles and things like that, but that's not what I got. I was featured on Games Done Quick relatively recently. Maybe somebody actually maybe even I can get that posted in the chat. We had a good time there. Again, this is another example of a semi-predeterministic wave. So there will always be 4 zombies that appear in that same row. Very important that you use the blowovers right as those guys are coming in. Definitely a super important strategy that will save you a lot of time. And as you can see, I'm being particularly defensive on those middle rows because I just know bad stuff is going to be happening in those rows. Yep, Modern Day 20 is nasty. There's a lot of really bad levels. There's a lot of really bad levels on this one. You can see, unfortunately, I might end up losing one of my plants here. I'm not sure if I quite got that timing close enough. Let's see. Did I lose? Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, I did lose it, actually, unfortunately. Daisy Chain is pretty overpowered. I hear ya. Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, some of these plants we don't get to take advantage of in any percent. We're basically left in a situation where the game's like, well, deal with what we want to give you, because we're not going to be nice. We're not going to give you anything else. You can see I actually was a little worried I might lose that that dude there. So yeah, unfortunately, really sort of set myself in a bad situation here, and I lost a lot of my sun-producing plants as well. So that level was more interesting than it had to be. I think my mistake was that I didn't plant the laser beans as early as I could have. But they're really important for dealing with those cannons, dealing with the fireworks zombies, dealing with the imps. They really counter a lot of the trouble that we get on that level. Yeah, Grimrose is really good. Luckily, we do get the Grimrose in a couple of levels here. It's maybe five levels or something like that. But the Grimrose is really good, as are the Dusklobbers. The Dusklobbers for any percent. Probably one of the most overpowered, like, not purchasable plants. Not money-locked plants in PvZ 2. This level is really hard. Definitely in the top 5 for most difficult levels, maybe even top 3. Reason being, no lawnmowers. So if you lose one of your rows, tough cookies to you. Yep. It's super difficult. The other thing that's very interesting is that the zombies, the plants that you get early on are a little bit random. You know, they're a little bit, you know, they seem to give you better plants at the beginning of the level than they do at the end. So as a result, it's particularly important that you try to save. And not only that, look how laggy this is too. Ugh. This lag is freaking brutal, man. Holy crap. Yeah, you see, I had to use the cherry bomb there to save the plants. I was like, ugh, you know what? Like, you know, what am I gonna do? But yeah, you really want at least one row of winter melons pretty much at all times. Like, right around here is where they start giving you, like, some slightly weaker plants and things like that. So again, pretty important to try to save, and honestly, to try to save one instant for that second row where you always get the 80s mix tip, the neon mix tip tape guard, because yeah, he's a son of a bitch. He really is. So what I decided to use was just use an instant just to clear him out, because I'm like, you know what, like, I'm gonna start losing a lot of plants. My life is about to get really unhappy here in just a second. You can see what I'm doing here. The reason I'm not planting a little bit farther back is because you do eventually get some of the repair carrot zombies. Yeah, right here you can see I was able to hit 6 of the Gargs with that grape shot. So again, very, very good. Oh yeah, the Rockstar Gargs, probably the worst zombie in the entire game. It's hard to say for sure. Yeah, again, I was hoping I'd get a couple more carrots a little bit easier, but unfortunately, that was not happening. So here I decide to use a little bit of money. I knew my money situation was pretty good, so I'm like, you know what? Like, I'll just go ahead and get some of those. Oh yeah, also the frostbite caves that throw like the 3 imps at you or whatever. Super nasty. Not only that, more of the rock ones, more of the 80s mix tape zombies coming after us. So I actually misplanted that a little bit. I should have done a little bit better. And here I'm like, oh boy, you know, what do I do? I'm like, I'm probably gonna have to use another instant. No way around it. So here I'm like, yep, just go ahead, just use it. You know, use it or lose it, right? I knew I was doing very well on money at this point, so again, you can be a little bit more aggressive, but I had to use 3 instants in that level, and I didn't even get a gold split. So again, that's where, like, boy, that level really sucks. It's really, really, really bad. Yep, yeah, the EM Peach is good. The EM Peach is really good. Yeah, we definitely will be taking that when we're gonna do an all worlds run next Saturday, right at this time, starting right around 8 a.m. I'm gonna have to put in a lot of time to prepping for that and doing that whole thing, but we're doing all worlds. We're basically going for it. You know, we are going for it. Luckily, Modern Day 17 isn't quite as bad. There's a couple of rude zombies that come here, but we get the Dusklobber, which is, again, in my opinion, probably the most broken plant in PvZ 2. Certainly one that's not locked by a paywall. Daisy Chain and Dusklobber, definitely a very, very good combination for sure. Yeah, Twin Sunflowers are good, but I do kind of like the Moonflowers. I think that they're I think that they're very good. Again, mostly just my opinion, but yeah, that's we got. Actually, should have probably done that on the second row. Now that I'm thinking about it, so I decided to add a little bit more firepower there. Just like this, again, you can sort of slip one of the poison shrooms in there as well. Again, you try to use that blower as soon as you see balloon zombies on screen. There's really no reason to mess around with them any more than you have to. And again, get those Dusklobbers off cooldown ASAP. Yep, Primal Sunflower is also very good. Yep, that's one that we might be using a little bit in our All Worlds run. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get that guy dead in time. I was very, very annoyed by that. But luckily, again, the Dusklobbers cover a couple of rows, so I'm definitely not super worried about that at all. Made really good use out of that potato mine. I don't know why I didn't use my my plant food a little bit better here, but you know, maybe I was planning to use it for that final row or the final wave or something, but probably. Yeah, really should have used that a little earlier. I think I could have gotten this level done probably maybe 3 to 5 seconds faster, but overall, again, a gold split, and that might be a global gold, meaning the best split that anyone's ever gotten on that level. So, so I feel pretty good about that. Why is the newspaper zombie running so fast? Because he is a jerk. Once he takes a certain amount of damage, he wakes up and then starts running insanely fast. The newspaper zombies are much worse in PvZ 2 than they are PvZ 1. So once he loses his newspaper, he gets super pissed and then starts running really fast and eating really fast. He'll kill your plants in less than a second. It's almost like an instantaneous right when he gets there. He's a little bit slower with the walnuts, but he can sort of plow through those pretty fast as well. So yeah, definitely don't be deceived. That is one nasty dude. And Blover is so good. It is so freaking good, man. Huh. He just missed. He just missed entirely. Here you can see it's important to put something in front of the bulls just to make them launch their imps a little bit faster. So again, I try to just use 2 of the cheaper plants that I have, even if it's a sunflower, moonflower rather. You know, we wouldn't worry about it too much. Again, I almost always try to use some kind of instant on the newspapers, otherwise we're going to be in big trouble. Again, right when the final wave appears on screen, you know, I didn't get great value out of that, unfortunately. So I decided to use an instant there as well, use another one of my poisons, and again, this final wave really deteriorated super quickly. Again, that poison effect, like, just does, it really works wonders. It really does great things. Oh yeah, football zombies, we're going to be seeing those coming up in just a couple of waves here, Wither. We are going to be seeing those coming up real quickly. Again, another what I believe to be global gold split. So that was that was very good. Yeah, more OP version of the newspaper zombie. Yep. He runs fast and he kills the first dude that he runs into. So that's definitely very bad. Again, the first 2 here you want to plant to deal with that cone head. Again, the 50% rule works very strangely in this level. Like you'll see right here, for example, right, we're going to get the 50% rule after just 2 hits. Really amazing. And then unfortunately this guy, the balloon kind of works the same way. I want to plant a little bit of extra firepower so I can deal with him pretty quickly. Here I decide, you know, I'm probably going to need something in the middle eventually too, so I don't love the escape route as a plant, but it does kind of help on this level a little bit. I do want to check that out and see if I always get a bucket head in the 3rd row. That would be interesting to know. Yeah, so here I just use plant food. That bucket head can take a long time to deal with. That was actually a mistake. I should have waited till he took a little bit more damage. Here again, I tried to, you know, I didn't quite get the knockbacks that I needed, so I ended up losing 3 plants there. But luckily didn't lose anything more than that, but, yeah. Mostly my mistake, mostly my bad there. There I wanted to do some damage to those guys, get them off cooldown. Again, not too much to say about this level, other than, yeah, just make sure everything's, you know, kind of constantly fast-forwarding. Then with this guy here, I decided to use an instant. I maybe regret it, especially where I got another, cannon, another coconut cannon right after that. But again, I knew I was doing very well on money here, so I decided to be a little bit more aggressive in the second half. And we'll see whether that pays off or not, or whether I run into trouble. Buckethead's always on row 3. There you go. Thank you, Real Carlos. I appreciate that. So really what I should do there is plant an escape route and just let him get blown to bits, right? I don't mind losing out on one escape route if it means killing those bucket heads. And I also think that the Garg also always appears in the final wave, in the middle row in the final wave. So maybe planting 1 or 2 escape routes there would be very good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They really they usually have taken a decent amount of damage. But again, that's why we take the blower in this category, because like otherwise, like what the hell are you supposed to do? You know, it's really, it can be really brutal. I actually love the forward instance that I used on this level. That felt really, really good. And here, also use a blower, just get rid of that balloon zombie. I don't want to deal with it. I don't have the time. I don't have the patience. Probably should have used a little bit more against that newspaper zombie. Unfortunately, I'm worried here. I'm gonna lose some stuff. So that was definitely a mistake. I did not nearly have the respect that I needed to for that newspaper zombie. And unfortunately, I kind of messed up the poison on this final wave as well. So unfortunately here I'm sort of in a bit of a dicey situation as well. So I decided to use an instant combined with the potato mine just to get that final wave done quickly. It worked. I got a very good time, but again, some of these instants, like, I didn't have to use them. You know, like, obviously they did help. They did make things go faster. But for example, if I had planned those earlier waves a little bit better, or if I hadn't messed up the poison on the final wave, here, yeah, you have to, like, you have to get through this annoying animation for the danger room and stuff, but that's what we get. And then just spam, modern day 21 as fast as you can. Hey, Kizime, how you doing? How you doing? Good morning. Or good afternoon, should I say. Glad to see you. Glad you can join us for the stream. Also, you'll notice what I did right there. The refresh button is definitely your friend. Anytime that you're taking basically the same plants that you took in the previous level, click refresh. And if you're only switching out one plant, you can click refresh and then just do a quick alternation for getting some of the other plants out a little bit quicker. Yep, football zombies here. Modern day 21, we get introduced to the footballs. So that's why, again, sometimes what I do, I'll just take, here, yeah, using one of the poisons is probably worth it. Yep, again, for him, you almost always want to use the poison whenever it's off cooldown. It's just, again, it's like I've said before, it's just too good. It's just too strong. Boom! Goodbye. Goodbye, football zombie. Get off my lawn. That's like a perfect get off my lawn moment. There, I just had to block him with something. I didn't want to waste the poison, but that was really my only choice. That was really the only thing I could pretty much afford. Again, very important to get a lot of dust globbers out so that you can, whatever that spinning zombie's called, you want him dead ASAP. Same thing here. You can see I actually had to use a couple of plants to deal with that. So, and the football zombies are rough. The primal pea shooter, also a good counter to the football zombie. If you stun him or if you knock him back, he loses his speed burst. So you'll see if we take advantage of that later on in the run as well. Yeah, not too difficult, but it's a pain in the ass, man. It really is. Look at that. Man, those guys are nasty. Luckily, I got a little bit of value out of that bottom lawnmower. Here, though, unfortunately, my life gets really, really unhappy. Really unhappy. You can see right there, yeah, I used an extra plant food. But now, unfortunately, I do lose the poison dude. So at this point, I'm like, well, I had to use an instant there, I unfortunately didn't have my lawnmower, which would have been really great to have right there. So again, another level where, I did get a pretty good time, but was sort of forced into an awkward final wave that I didn't really want to. Oh, the Octo Zombie is the worst. He is the worst. Again, maybe not, he arguably in some ways is worse than those Gargs, you know what I mean? Yep, and again, another match 3. Nothing too crazy about that one. This one is a little bit easier. You only need 75 matches, so usually I can get the level done in about a minute, 20 seconds, give or take. Again, I love playing this on iPad because I can use both hands to, like, you know, get the matches on the left row with my left hand and right row or right section on my right hand. So it's very good. Again, what I try to do, what's helpful for me, I try to match colors. I don't look to, like, match the plants, but I try to match, like, the colors. And that's why sometimes I'll try to upgrade either the pea shooter or the melon pult to be a different color, because, like, it's easier then for my eyes to distinguish, like, okay, like, see right here, a red, like, red, green, purple, and white are, like, pretty easy to see. It's very easy to see the matches. So that's one way that those upgrades can definitely can definitely help you. And again, I played this level pretty well, I would say. I've had better levels, but my gold is also outstanding on that level. So. So I don't play Penny Pursuit, nor have I started Eclipse. I might do an Eclipse speed run at some point on stream. I'll make an announcement once I sort of, like, feel like I get Eclipse under my belt a little bit better and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't really dove too far into Penny's Pursuit or Eclipse just yet, but. It's certainly something that, you know, eventually, eventually I'd like to, and eventually I think I could. Thank you for the follow there, Real Carlos. I certainly do appreciate that. Snap pea, a weird type of plant. I agree. Yep. I don't know if they're kind of going, you know, if they're kind of trying to reference back to some old things. Look at this, boom, double value with that potato mine. Very, very nice for me. Penny's Pursuit is one of those new, like adventure mode, new game mode. Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. A new game mode that they introduced maybe 6 months? How long ago? Is it 6 months ago? Honestly, it might even been longer than that. Like, with quarantine and stuff, like, days, weeks, months, like, the whole thing, the whole thing kind of feels a bit bizarre. But not only that, oh man, I didn't quite get it. One of my favorite mechanics in the game is, and also, why wasn't that guy affected by the poison? Very strange. I love the Grimrose against these frickin' octopuses. Look at that. Boom. Goodbye. Get out of here. Get out of here. Also, against newspaper zombies. Boom. You're dead. So nice to use the Grimrose here. Look at this, and I got great... This was kind of lucky. I honestly didn't even plan that. Got great value out of that dude. Really good value. Unfortunately, I lost my potato mine against that guard. I lost the potato mine because of the surfboard. So at this point, I'm like, oh, what do? I didn't want to use more money. In hindsight, I probably should have. I could have saved about 10 seconds, but... You know, I'm thinking, like, you know, I'm not low on money. I haven't even used half of the money that's available to me, and I'm less than 10 levels from being done the game. But as we know, some of these levels coming up are absolutely brutal. They are super bad. Yeah, can you believe the game is 7 years old? 7 years old? I met my wife about 7 years ago, and this was one of the first games that we played together as a couple. And it feels like I can remember. I remember where we were living. We had sort of just bought our first iPad at that point. You know, like all of those memories. And I'm like, that couldn't have been 7 years ago, but it really was. It really was. Yeah, snorkel and land. No special effect. He's a little bit annoying, but there's really no, you know. Yeah, he really doesn't serve a purpose. One thing you definitely want to do, you always get a metallic dude there, so just make sure that you have a poison plant or a potato mine to deal with him. Again, you can see I'm being proactive with some of the Grimroses. Unfortunately, I didn't guess that one in the right row. It might always be in wave 3, but row 3, but yeah, you can see, again, Grimrose is so good. How is it only 75 sun? It is so good. Let me see here, unfortunately. Oh yeah, I lost one of my dust blobbers there. That really sucks. Again, if you always make sure you're using the fast forward, you never want the game to slow down. Sometimes it's hard to tell like what's lag versus what's like the game being slow, but you know, for the most part, that's what we got. Yeah, here unfortunately I didn't get great value because I lost that Grimrose. I sort of put myself in a crappy situation here. So again, I did get another Grimrose or two. I think that final wave probably could have been 5 seconds faster. Again, there's room for a lot of improvement in this run. I felt very good about it. This is by far the strongest that I've ever played, and I'm actually probably close to a minute or two ahead of my PB, maybe even 3 minutes ahead of my PB. At this point, I'm just using some old splits, so it doesn't quite accurately capture. As you can see right there on my live split, the world record was 5:54:01 by me. So there you go. I tried a different strategy on this level that I'd practiced a little bit offline, and to tell you the truth, I really didn't like it. I think the butter is the one that you really want to use the first. I really should have had a butter in this middle row. There was no reason not to do that. I don't even know why I, like, picked the fume first. Like, I just kind of, honestly, I just messed up. I just messed up here. And I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be really nice if I could, like, get this guy? Oh, and I, like, tried to click it in time, and it didn't work. And then I tried to click it again, and he was already in front. And so I'm like, oh, shit, like, I am in huge trouble here. Luckily, I did get him dead in time. I got a very well-timed butter. You guys can give me a War Mech butter in the chat here, but you know, it's tough. Like the fumes in the front are definitely very helpful because they're a great counter to the football zombies. But like I didn't have nearly enough butters. I didn't. And you can see now I'm losing some of them. Like I'm just really in a crappy situation here. Actually lost a couple of lawnmowers here, and I'm like, oh boy, like I'm gonna be in a real heap here. The level was slow, it was inefficient, and I really blame myself. I was sort of experimenting with some new strats. Nice. We got some great War Mech butters. Great War Mech butters here. I appreciate that. Luckily, this is a short level, so the final wave does appear pretty quickly. And luckily, I am going to get... I thought I was going to get some... I should have gotten value. Why didn't that guy go down? Why didn't that football vault zombie go down? So I'm like super annoyed at this point. I'm like, oh, what the hell's, you know, what the hell's going on here? Maybe should have just used another instant here. Honestly, I was like, you know, but luckily I'm glad I didn't. It had taken a fair amount of damage at that point, so yeah. Exactly, yeah. The newspaper eats faster even as a normal zombie. So he just sucks. He just sucks. There's no doubt that the newspaper zombie is one of the most brutal zombies, probably in the entire series, I would say. Super nasty. Yeah, Modern Day 26, not the worst, but if you let problems happen on this level, they will happen. They will happen, and they will happen fast. So luckily, again, I try to keep myself prepared with a couple of the, you know, couple of the Shadow Shrooms, couple of the Grimroses, you know, just being proactive. Just trying to do my best, and here I'm like, ooh, I have an idea. Luckily, the Grimrose cooldown is a little bit long, so I had to wait a little bit longer than I normally would have liked to for that. But you know, again, I felt like I was in a pretty good situation here. Really should have just been planting faster. No other reason. Again, sort of plant that as some cannon fodder, or in this case, football fodder. Unfortunately, the Grimrose does not work against certain plants, but you know, Gargs and certain very strong plants like that. And this is another 3-flag level, so it's, again, very important to just make sure all the rows kind of stay under control. Oh yeah, again, more Rockstar zombies. Really, with him, I was just trying to get, you know, trying to get some stuff in the way, trying to just wait for the poison to do its work. But yeah, unfortunately, I you know, kind of in a rough spot here. Again, this final wave can be pretty tough. Luckily, I did save 2 plant foods. So again, I wait for all zombies to get on screen, use the plant food with the poison, and then again, just sort of slowly wait for some of these zombies to wither away a little bit. Hey, Red Brancher, what's going on? What's going on? And this guy just didn't quite take enough damage, damn it. You know. Very unfortunate. So I lost a fair amount of time on that final wave, but I still got a gold split, and honestly, it might have been a global gold split. Again, best time ever. So that level felt very smooth up until that final wave, up until that final Gargantuar. There's always one Garg. There's always one pain in the ass there. So that's what we got. Our final match 3 of the game. Again, this one is medium in terms of its difficulty and length. It's 100 matches, so again, I'd like to have it done under 2 minutes. A minute 45 is I consider a very good time. Again, this is another one that the first thing that I try to do is upgrade the Snapdragon. Reason being that, again, slowing down the zombies is definitely the way to go. No question about it. Again, the sun is important, but you don't need to worry about it too much. And then at this point, again, you can upgrade your pea shooters, you can really upgrade anything at this point. I actually don't necessarily like upgrading the lightning reed, just because the plant food effect that it has, I think, is very, very good. It's even better than the laser beams upgraded plant food as well. At this point, I was in such a groove, I didn't even bother to upgrade my plants. I'm like, you know what? I'm kicking ass. You know, like, I haven't lost a single plant yet. I'm not worried about it. I'm just like, you know what? Just go. Just go. And I actually got an amazing time. Look at that. I got a gold split by, like, 23 seconds. Isn't that crazy? There is a benefit to matching 4. Number 1, you get the plant food effect of the plant. And number 2, I believe it counts as 2 matches. Yep, yeah, so you generate more sun. I think if you get 2 matches, I'm pretty sure it counts for 2 matches. You know, I never actually, like, tested that to be sure. But, yeah, you do get more sun and you do get the plant food effect, which in turn helps you not lose more plants. So that's that's very good. I pot noose the newspaper zombies. Or hypnotize them. Yep, I gotcha. Another level where we have to generate 300 sun, so as a result, I use the regular sunflower here. I'm not 100% sure if it's faster, but I feel more comfortable with this strategy. And again, you know, another chance to kind of show off our blowover strat. So yeah, modern day 28, pretty difficult, but not the worst. I also love planting the walnuts on those sun tiles. That is definitely the way to go. And just give that guy a blowover once you feel comfortable. You'll also see me, like, just really start to plant as many things as I possibly can. Really what that is that's going to be a counter to our football zombies, because you know we're getting football zombies on this level. Look at that, boom, and I saved the walnut there, which is very, very nice. I could have used a few more blowovers here, maybe, although I was trying to save up for a couple of the primal peas. Not bad. Probably should have frozen the wizard. The wizard's a huge pain in the ass. Also, you can use the blowover against the parrot and not use your plants. I got really lucky there. Did you see that? I happened to knock back the football zombie at the exact same time that I used the blowover, so that was really, really, really good. Yeah, wizard zombie, super annoying. The sheep, though, I'm gonna say this, super adorable. Those sheep are so funny. Definitely one of the better, like, effects that they put in the game. Yeah, and then once you get to 3,000 sun, just, you know, plant as much stuff as you can, use plant food, you know, and try to get a couple of blowovers. I actually got really bad luck with the blowovers there at the very end, but more annoying than the octo zombie. So I disagree. The octo zombie, I think, has more hit points, and you can shoot through the sheep. You can't shoot through the octopi. So the octopi block your plants from doing more damage. Yeah, you can't kill the octopus. Yep. Well, you're right. Well, you actually kill the sheep if you kill the wizard zombie himself. So I actually like the fact that it doesn't block your plants from doing damage. The sheep don't. So, but they're both super annoying. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. They are both god-awful. So again, I'm on a very good pace at this point. You can see its predicted time is a 1:54, but I actually think that we can do a lot better than that if we're very good here. I was a little bit too conservative with that potato mine placement. Should have placed it one spot farther forward. Now, when I did plant farther forward, and I think it's going to pay off for me. It did not. Unfortunately, the potatoes don't get any iframes, so you gotta... Again, we get another one of these kicking, annoying-ass dudes. So, so I say, alright, what's a good solution to that? Grimrose. Goodbye. Goodbye. And the Grimrose really doing work. Such a good plant, seriously. Yeah, the Octo has twice as many hit points, exactly. Yep. So luckily the Wizard is kind of wimpy in terms of his hit points, but the sheep are definitely annoying. Again, using an upgrade to my poison here. Could have waited a little bit longer. Got really unlucky with that dinosaur kicking the Garg. I should have really tried to time a Blover perfectly right there. But luckily, as you can see, I'm actually going to get semi-lucky right here, and I think this Garg is going to do me a favor here on the final wave, which is really nice. Goodbye, my dudes. And unfortunately, I'm kind of left in a situation where I'm like, ugh, you know, alright, I can kind of use this here. Then I'm like, alright, maybe I'll use... And instead of using the poison, I actually should have used a potato mine here, because I think I could have done a ton of damage to this guy. At this point, I'm like, should I use my instant? And I'm like, you know what, no, I really gotta save those instants for modern day 30. I kind of regret this as well. You know, I did end up, like, doing enough damage anyway, but if I'd played that final wave correctly, again, I think not only could have the level been at least 10 seconds faster, but, you know, I could have, you know, not worried so much about, you know, the final wave and needing to use lawnmowers and all that stuff. Seagulls are glorified basics. There's a lot of glorified basics, exactly. You beat PvZ 1 15 times since 2012. I've beaten it over 100 times. You can definitely, if you want to come check out some of my PvZ 1 runs. I'm going to try to do one tomorrow. I'm going to try to do a full any percent. Maybe a no reset. Maybe make it to the end of the run, no matter what. I guess we'll see how it goes, but that's what we get. So on this level, again, this is the worst level in any any normal level in any Plants vs. Zombie level ever. Any Plants vs. Zombies game ever. It is so hard that what we're doing here, we are deliberately stalling these zombies basically for as long as we possibly can. And then we're going ahead and you can see also I'm planting some proactive potato mines right on the flowers. Luckily, if a zombie steps on the flowers and gets blown up by a potato, as you'll see right here, it does not count for crossing the flowers, which is really great. Definitely the worst level in the game. As you can see, I love putting a Primal P right on that, right on the platform there, because it really helps to sort of, you know, solve some of our problems. Again, you can see the football zombie, look at that! I did manage to stun him just in time, and I saved my walnut. Very nice. And the iceberg lettuce counts as slowing him down as well. That's why we take the iceberg lettuce on this level. Beat PvZ 2 one time. I don't blame you. It's a hard game, man. It is a hard game. And very unforgiving as well. So here I do use one of my plant food just to make sure I get rid of that Garg. That Garg was giving me tremendous anxiety. And here I'm like, oh crap. And luckily I do get rid of that in time. I have a walnut that I can use to sort of better deal with these guys. I decided to use an instant there to help with the 50% rule. Again, I knew I was going to use several instants on this level. So again, I wasn't like too worried about it. I honestly might want to change the order and put the sunflowers in back, because I really don't mind losing the sunflowers that much. Again, a really lucky Blover there and there. Look at that Blover. I got 2 Gargs with 1 Blover. Unfreaking believable, man. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't have frozen him, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I don't really care, and just wait this Blover out. Again, I got a gold split. I only had to use 3 instants, which is very good. Yep, yeah, you now play the modded version. Oh yeah, I'm thinking about doing an Eclipse run at some point. Haven't decided, you know, if that's something I totally want to commit the time into learning and investing and that whole thing. But yeah, exactly, should play the entire game first before trying to speedrun it. I agree. Again, this level is deceptively annoying. My only normal plant that I take here is actually the laser bean, and that's to mostly deal with the cannon zombies. That was sort of the best way I found to deal with that. I had tried taking the dusk lobber. I didn't love it. It might be good, but I really did like the laser bean. I really did. Yeah, Shiny speedruns the first 6 levels, and he has the world record in just about every category that we have for those. Oh, another thing, a great counter to those annoying jesters is the poison. Look at that! Boom! Get out of here! Oh, I love that stuff so much, man. I love it. Oh, boom! Goodbye. Goodbye. So that's why I was ready instantly with a Grimrose. Very important for that wave to make sure that you have a Grimrose right on hand. God, I love the Grimrose so much on this level. I want to take the Blover, but I honestly don't know what I would give up for it. You know, maybe I'd give up the Iceberg Lettuce. Maybe the Blover for the Iceberg Lettuce. I'm actually gonna write that down in my notes. I think the Blover's a little better than the Iceberg Lettuce. Like, originally my idea was the Iceberg Lettuce just as a counter to the football zombies, which of course it is a great counter to them. Blover for... Let's see. Some notes here. Save. Alright. And again, I wasn't thrilled with that final wave, but I probably should have used a little bit more money just because my money situation was actually amazing here. So where do we go here? My money situation was really good. So now we get into Zomboss. For those of you not familiar how Zomboss works, you can get 1 of 3 levels for each of the 3 Zombosses. And I have tested it, and one of the levels is much, much, much faster than the other ones. This level potentially could be if you used a lot of money and things like that too, but we basically... even though it takes about 25 to 30 seconds to reset Zomboss, it is worth it. So look at this. We're going to reset right here at about the 44-second marker. We're going to wait for the game to load. Because we're on iPad and it's slow, we're still waiting. Look at this shit. That was almost a 10-second load time. Holy crap. So the first level can be either Ancient Egypt, Wild West, or Pirate Seas. Look at that. That was almost 30 seconds. That was 26 seconds or something like that. Give up the Grimrose? Hell no. Hell no. And finally, on my 3rd try, I did get this. So as you can imagine, each time I play the level, there's a 1 in 3 chance of getting the level that I want. I've sometimes gotten it on the 1st try. I've sometimes gotten it on the 7th try. And on this one, I'm now 3 resets into it, and I've wasted over 1.5 minutes just trying to get the level that I want. It's absolutely crazy, and finally I did get Ancient Egypt, thank God. And at this point, I'm really nervous, because I know I'm on world record pace at this point. But if Zomboss decides that he's going to be rude and, give me a bunch of crap, then I'm in trouble. What can I do? It was actually a mistake to plant that spikeweed where I did. I should have just, I should have held off a little bit. And it was actually a mistake to plant that dude too. So what I tried to do, I used an instant to save him and make sure, but I didn't even get that in time. So I actually really messed up the beginning of this, quite significantly, I would say. And I had to use one of my lawnmowers, so I did not get very lucky at the beginning of this level. I got a bunch of the spring beans, which suck. I got a couple, and you can see here, the reason that Ancient Egypt is faster is, look at this, look at how much damage that plant food does. Look at it, boom! I killed the entire wave, and in just 3 plant foods, I've done 1/3 of his health. Absolutely unbelievable. Oh, and the cannon, which I should be using right now. I don't know. Okay, I did there. Look at how much damage I've done to him. So again, once we got like all that crap out of the way, you know, I finally was in a position. Did I lose that? I don't even know what happened to that cherry bomb there. Anyway, yeah, look at all the damage that it's taking. He takes almost a tenth of his hit points just from one power-up, if you get the power-up centered right on top of him. So it loads slow because I'm playing on iPad, and the game is not as optimized for iPad as it is for other platforms. That's the easy version of why things are not going well. Look at how much damage I do to him. So again, this is why you can see. Look at this. I spent almost as long waiting for the right layout as I did actually beating Zomboss. Isn't that freaking crazy? Android seems to have the fastest load times. We haven't like gone through and like proven. Look at that. I killed him in like less than 2 minutes 30 seconds. Absolutely amazing. Again, all from being really efficient about when I use my plant food. So iOS should run it well, but I'm playing on iOS right now. I'm playing on iOS for my iPad, and the game runs well, but the load times are really, really long, and that's very frustrating to me because I don't know. So by the way, I'm now 9 minutes away. If I can beat these two levels in less than 9 minutes, I'll have world record. But again, each one of these resets could cost me a boatload of time. Huge amount of time. So again, I didn't get the right layout, so I had to reset again. So at this point, I'm like, oh boy, I've already done 5 resets in just 2 levels. So definitely below average luck. And then luckily here, I did get the one that I'm looking for. Far Future is very, very, very good. It's very fast. It's very efficient. The reason being that because you get the little power tiles and stuff, the whole level runs like really great. The magnets are also super helpful for dealing with the bucket heads and stuff. We will see if we get a first try frostbite or not. So what I try to do here, and that was actually a mistake, I try to make sure I have one of each tile on the puff shrooms so that I can like recharge the puff shrooms. And look at this! He blasted both of them! He blasted the 2 tiles that I had, and I'm like, what the hell, dude? So I got really, really unlucky at the beginning of this level. Ridiculously unlucky. Luckily, I do kill him in time, so I don't lose my fume shroom, but holy crap, man. So the puff shrooms are weak, but they're not weak if you have a crap load of them. So what I'm planning here, basically, is, you know, to try to set up a scenario where based on where the zombies are, look at this. So I plant that, and then again, it'll blow all those zombies. I'll do a ton of damage to them as well. And basically by like alternating and trying to plant, you know, one of each of the power tile types in each of the rows, I can always be sure that I blow the zombies back, and I do a ton of damage to Zomboss. And I'm always refreshing my puff shrooms. So again, this is a harder strategy than it looks to sort of pull off to perfection. But yeah, but there you go. So again, here I'm like, all right. So now I know I have one power tile on each row. So each time I get a plant food, which unfortunately I did not get very good luck with the plant food here. Look at all these zombies that spawned. Only one had a plant food. Ridiculously bad luck. So again, I kind of got trolled on this level. I forgot how badly I got trolled on this level, but there's no question that I got like super bad luck. So here I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna deal with all these, and then look at those fume shrooms doing damage. So now I'm like, oh boy, like this is not actually going very well. Not only did I have to do a reset, but the level itself was like very, very shaky. But the other levels that you can play are, I think this one is Big Wave Beach, which sucks. It took me like 7 minutes to do that when I practiced it. Oh, what the heck else can you do? Oh, look at that! Look at that! Now our sort of our engine is up and running, and we're doing very, very well. The other thing the plant food does is if you're about to get charged by Zomboss, you stun him. You actually blow him backwards, so it's really, really powerful. Dark Ages is the last one, but the Dark Ages has graves that are blocking Zomboss, and the type of plants that you get really suck. So like Dark Ages simply isn't worth it. It really isn't. Look at my fume shrooms in the middle of the row. That's really funny to me. And finally, I do enough damage to get him dead. Not a bad time. Again, 4 minutes is like okay, but yeah, that was yeah, that's what I got. And then of course in the last level, we either get Frostbite Caves, Jurassic Marsh, or ooh, goodness. Oh, it's okay. Glad you're. I thought that was your head for a second. And look at my money. I have $8,000. And the reason that we do Frostbite Caves is for a reason that you will see coming up very, very quickly, I hope. You can see, I'm not going to get a sub 150, but if Frostbite Caves goes really, really well, I could definitely get a PV. Hi, Warmech Wife, says chat. I've asked her the name that she would prefer to be called, and she prefers Mrs. Warbeck. So you are welcome to greet her by Mrs. Warbeck, or hey you, or hey person that's living in your household. But those would all be rude, you see. Mrs. Warbeck it adds a level of class and dignity, and you know, that's the preference. And I did get Frostbite Caves on my second try here, so. Yeah, the Frostbite Caves is very easy, in part because we have the ability, if you have money, you can use the little fire power-up, and that's really, really, really good. So you can see what I'm doing here. I don't plant my plants right away. I want to give it just a second until I have enough plants to actually do some damage to him, and look at this. Now what you do is, once he has his little ice shield up, you use one of your fire things, and you can usually get things right away. So then what I'll do, I'll use my little fire things right there, use another fire, and I should be very, very close. Boom, I got him. And that all is very, very, very important. And I try to plant all of my plants in the middle, as you can see, so that I do the most amount of damage to him that I can. So again, after you bust the little ice things there, you know, do that, and look at this time. I'm already 3/4 of the way done. 3 freaking quarters of the way done, and I still have more money. I got him again. I got really good luck here, getting just enough firepower, and look at that. Absolutely incredible. Despite not getting a first try Zomboss 2, 2 minutes 16 seconds, a new world record by over 2.5 minutes. By about 2.5 minutes, a world record that I got on this tutorial. So anyway, that was a ridiculous level, and definitely makes me think that it could be possible to get like a 1 minute 40 second modern day 34 if you got him on the first try. So again, another world record. That's the end of the tutorial, really. There's sort of nothing else to say about it. I really hope you'll give some consideration into running this game. It's a great category. There's enough randomness. It feels like a different run every time. There's RNG elements. There's an extremely high skill cap. Honestly, maybe even higher than PvZ 1. It's a lot of fun. It's only 2 hours, and I've really had a great time picking it up. There's definitely a learning curve. It'll be very frustrating at first because like you can pretty easily take deaths, and if you run out of money, things can be a pretty major problem. But again, it's a great level. It's a great game, and timing ends, by the way, when you pick up the little waffle thing or whatever right after you defeat Zomboss. So that was where I stopped. So anyway, GG everyone. Again, another great PB. I could probably improve this by 3 minutes based on the platform alone, and that's not even including the fact I had $4,000 at the end of the run. I easily could have used at least 4, maybe 5 more instants comfortably, you know, and still had enough for Zomboss and everything else. Again, with slightly better RNG, I really think I could have, I could have, you know, I think a 145 or even sub 145 time is possible. If you look at my sum of best, it's now down to 143.58. You know, again, also like extremely good. So again, I think a 145 is possible. Again, it would require, again, a better platform, better execution, you know, better use of your money, but sub 150 should be right around the corner. I really hope so. But anyway, thank you all for the GGs. Thank you for hanging out today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll probably do another version of it later on. I'll probably come up, you know, as we learn more about the game and learn more about like how to predict what zombies are coming where. You know, come up with another tutorial, but this was a lot of fun, and I feel really good about this time. So again, until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, as I always say. We'll talk to you all later. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Oh, by the way, tomorrow we're going to be doing PvZ1 any percent. And next Saturday, I'm going to be doing all worlds. I anticipate about 13 hours for all worlds. So that's going to be a brutal run, but I'm going to start planning it now, and that's what we got. Yeah, take care, Ruskell, Small Goldfish, Monkey, Wither, Dino, Aruba. You guys have all been Shiny, Real Carlos. You guys have been hanging out. Kizime, of course. You guys have all been hanging out for a long time. I appreciate the chat engagement. It really makes, you know, these tutorials and these runs a heck of a lot more fun. So again, until next time, until tomorrow, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.